Hello, I'm Richard Crook from the Eastbourne Society, and we're working with Eastbourne Borough Council on reconstructing a historic miniature temple in the Devonshire Park. Now, this was put up originally for a workman's fair sponsored by the Duke of Devonshire, who paid for the park, and it was a miniature temple based on various other temples that were very popular in the 19th century parks. There's one at Kew Gardens by Decimus Burton, who was involved with Eastbourne. There's another more locally at Breitling Park, and the Breitling Park temple in Breitling Park, which is near Battle, looks very similar to the one that James Hookham, a local plasterer, erected in the park. Everybody loved it so much, they asked for it to be a permanent feature, so it was moved onto a bank over there, and you can still see the remnants of it. And by the 1980s it had become unsafe due to rusting steel and was carefully taken down, and the parts were put aside ready for reconstruction. Unfortunately they disappeared, but fortunately I, as an architectural student, measured the building up, and as part of the 150th anniversary of the park next year, the Society put forward to the council that it should reconstruct this miniature temple. And we've had £40,000 worth of grant aid given to us, which we've passed on to the council for the first phase of the works, which you see before us. And that's digging a recess into the east bank of the grounds, and the temple will go into here, and it will have a much better use than it ever had before, because the use before was really as ornament, but I used to go and play in it when this park had a children's playground in it. So as a boy I used to come and play in the temple, which probably gave me an interest in architecture. Anyway, the use now is for a wedding bower, where you can have your photographs taken if you're married, and so the wedding can be over there in the Winter Gardens, and then the bride and groom will come out here and they can have their wedding photograph taken. Very popular. Also an area for commentary for commentators when they're looking at the tennis and commentating and meeting players. They can meet here. Also there's a little covered enclosure for small musical groups and other events, so it will have a use this time because it's the level of the park. And so the first stage is to dig the bank out, form a stone retaining wall, put the foundations in, and erect the substructure, which is a stainless steel frame, all done by local people. And that will complete phase one, and we've then got to raise more money for phase two, which is to clad the steel frame in reconstituted bath stone and erect it to form a complete replica of the original temple. And the idea is that that will be opened by the Earl of Burlington next summer on the 1st of July, which is the actual 150th anniversary of the opening of the park. And Lord Burlington, William Cavendish, has kindly agreed to come down for that, and also has agreed to rename the building the Burlington Bower, so it will have a new name. And it will be absolutely up to date. It will have lighting controlled by computers, so that you can have all sorts of different lighting effects to illuminate the thing. So it really is an old relic, but brought into the 21st century. Is that right? And I think it will be a real asset for the park. And the position is carefully worked out because it's on the end of the main path running through the park. So it's a focal point as you walk along this path. And if you walk along the other way, whoever built the Point building, which is about 20 years old over there, did the same thing. So the other end of this path you see the Point. So each end has a focal point, so it's quite fun. So that's it really. I hope that's helpful.